Hello everyone, welcome to What If Issei Became Deadpool movie. Before we start, please go support Pepe Botella 4 for writing that awesome fanfic. This is the translated version I made. There will be some mistake in character's gender, but of course Issei is a male. Issei, let the fucking chimichangas begin. Prologue, my story. You know it's family because I don't. Since I was little I remember that my parents didn't pay attention to me. I didn't have their paternal love or anything like that. I really don't know. They paid more attention to my sister because they saw potential in her, and she and I were best friends. But when my sister showed great talent for things, they took her away from me and I couldn't be with her anymore. But they will regret it because I will prove that I am much better than that. Issei, what a jerk. It looks a lot like my story, he said while putting a comic back in its place. That is, his shelf. How crazy. Hello reader, how are you? I hope you are well and having a good time. You're probably wondering how I can talk to you. I don't know, but to bring you up to date, I'll explain who I am. I am Issei Hyoudou. I am the youngest brother of my family. My parents are Tatsumi Hyoudou, a spectacular man. He is feared throughout the supernatural world since he is known as the Black Knight. How original, right? Well, leaving that aside, he is known as such because he fought in the war where God and Lucifer died. Well, that war. Well, in that war my father also met my mother, Veronica Hyoudou, a great magician feared throughout the supernatural world, because he knew how to do any spell. Well, as you know, any romantic story, they met and blah blah blah, you already know. After years of knowing each other and of being married, they had their first daughter, aka my sister. Sorry Hyoudou, she is my sister, and that's it. She is the sister who is already years old. And well, year later I was born. He is years old. After that my sister and I were almost inseparable. We were best friends, but my parents discovered that my sister had a celestial dragon called Ddraig, and well, they discovered them when she was years old. After they took my sister to train to be the best, and then they forgot about me and they didn't even pay attention to me, not even my sister, since we were supposed to be best friends. But after years of trying to get my parents' attention by getting into trouble or getting bad grades, but not a damn thing. In fact, I received a slap from my mother and a punch from my father. Anyway, after that I stopped trying and became independent. I learned to cook and to not stand out too much in school. I got 9s, and well, you might say that I became serious, cold. Well, guess what? Yes, to believe it or not the truth, I continued my life. I went out with friends. I had my first girlfriend alone. Then I broke up. Haha, how crazy. I learned to play basketball. I learned to sing and play guitar. I learned to do freestyle, which I like a lot. The truth is, freestyle is love, freestyle is live. And I also have like some gems called infinity gems, and I also have regeneration if they cut my head or split me in half or those things I don't die, obviously. I also have super strength, and when I get angry that increases, my body becomes very hard, and it's called Spartan Rage. I also learned martial arts almost like an assassin, and they asked me how to get those powers and that training to be an assassin. Well, that was when I was years old. Flashback. I was walking at night, and I met 3 fallen angels. Fallen angel equals AC. AC1, look what we have here, an idiot human. Issei, hey language. AC2, how dare you? He said to throw a spear of light at him, and Issei fell dead. What an idiot. He said this so that the 3 of them would fly away. Issei, so I'll die, cough cough, how funny. Good, he said. Here I go, San Pedro. He said to die dash. Issei, where am I? He said to see that he was in a dark place. Or hello friend. Issei, who are you? They know me as Stanley, he said with a smile. Issei, Stanley? Stan, yeah, and from what I see you're dead? Issei, seriously, you swear it to me. Stan, okay, let's stop joking and tell me, do you want to have superpowers and have a second chance? Issei, hey, of course, why not? I want to save the world from bad people and also the supernatural world from all those people who only want to do evil, he said with determination, and also eat chimichangas, he said with a poker face and a thumbs up dash. Stan, okay, he said with a drop of sweat and a smile. First I'll give you powers and call people to help you improve your training. He said this to take him to a room where day outside is years in the room, and well, he was there for a week. And the almighty god Stanley called several people. First it was Thanos, to ask themselves why, so that he would give him the knowledge of the gems and be able to control them. He then called upon a god named Kratos, who was very serious in his training. Thank God he didn't die, to control his strength and also the Spartan anger. Then he called 2 assassins so that he could defend himself. They were the legendary Baba Yaga and Deadpool. These 2 almost always fought but were good friends. They taught him several things such as sword handling, guns, martial arts. And also thanks to the power of Stan Lee, Issei was able to obtain Deadpool's regeneration, but more efficiently. And not only did he learn that, but he also learned many things for his school life and other languages. At the end of training, Issei said goodbye to Stan Lee and his teachers. Issei, thank you for teaching me all that. Now I will help everyone. Thank you very much, he said as he passed through the portal and left in front of his house. Well, here I am, working. End of flashback. Issei. Hey, what's up, dude? Well, that's how I got my powers in my training. I learned to play guitar, cook and freestyle by watching YouTube videos. I also participated in several freestyle tournaments and won several, but anyway, it's already night, and tomorrow I'm going to school, so see you tomorrow, guys. Ha ha ha, how crazy I talk to myself, he said to sleep. Meanwhile, in the living room of the house, 3 people were seen coming out of a magic circle, and guess who they were exactly? It was Tatsumi, Veronica, and Isay. Isay. How good to come home after several years. Tatsumi. Exactly. Now you are strong like me and your mother, he said excitedly. Isay. Should be quiet, Dad. I'm sure Issei is sleeping. When mentioning this, everyone felt sad because they forgot it. Veronica. Well, let's go to sleep because tomorrow you and Issei start school, he said for everyone to go to sleep. But in the parents' room they were talking. Veronica, what have we done? We have forgotten our son. For so many years, my parents raised me with love and affection. Tatsumi. Yes, but since we finished Isay's training, we can be the happiest family in the world and we can take care of Issei. Veronica. True, I will love him very much and I will teach him everything a mother teaches her son, shopping and maybe teaching him how to cook. Tatsumi. Right, and I'll teach him everything about how to treat girls and how to have a girlfriend. Veronica. But who said my little one would have a girlfriend? She said with a gloomy aura and a sinister smile. Tatsumi. Yes, excuse me. Let's go to sleep since it will be the children's first day of school. Veronica. Sigh, if it's true, well, see you tomorrow. Tatsumi. Yes, until tomorrow. Chapter 1 Attempts. In the city of Kuoh, everyone was waking up to the rays of the sun, waking up to go to school or work. But in one house our favorite chestnut tree was waking up. Issei. I am inevitable, he said dreamily. Beep 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 beep. Look at those sounds, Dad. The clock I had rang. Issei. It's already daylight. It seems like I only slept for minutes, he said, yawning and rubbing his eyes. Let's watch today's news, he said, trying to grab his cell phone that was on the table with his computer, but it wasn't there. What happened? He said to see that his cell phone wasn't there. I had put my cell phone there, he said. Maybe it's downstairs in the living room, he thought. So he quickly went down to the living room to see if his cell phone was there. And when he went downstairs, he saw his cell phone in front of the television that was there. Issei. Bingo, said he to grab his cell phone and see if he had any messages. Haha, how crazy. How am I going to have new messages if I change this one's number? He said this to laugh, but suddenly he would hear a voice that left him with goosebumps. Veronica. Good morning, son, she said with a smile. Issei. My mother? He asked. What are you doing? Veronica. What am I doing, son? I'm making breakfast for us to eat as a family, she said excitedly. Issei. Yes, of course I'm going to change, he said to run to his room. Veronica. What will it have? When Issei arrived at his room, he said to himself. Issei. Holy shit, he said, almost shouting. Captain America. Hey, language. Issei. Yes, sorry, imaginary chap, he said. Let's see, your mother is making breakfast, so that means that you have already returned from my sister's training. God, how uncomfortable this is going to be, he said, unless, he said while putting on a thoughtful face and scratching his chin. Time skip. Minutes later, the Hyoudou family could be seen having breakfast, including Veronica, Tatsumi, and Isay. Isay, your food is incredible, Mom, she said happily. Veronica. Thank you very much, daughter, she said. Hey, can you please tell your brother to come down for breakfast? Isay. Yes, of course, Mother, she said, excited to see her dear brother. Ddraig. It seems you are happy, my friend. Isay. Yes, because I will be able to see my brother again since I couldn't see him last night, and also make up for all that lost time. Ddraig. Okay, I'm going to sleep. Take care. When Isay arrived at her brother's room, she was surprised because she saw that there were posters of games, and he also had a PS4 and a PC in addition to having a television that cost money. Isay, what the hell, why does my brother have all this? Could it be that he stole it? He thought. But then you hear a snore and you see him in bed and he's asleep and you think because he's asleep. Well, let's go back a few minutes. Minutes before. Issei, unless he said while thinking and grabbing his chin, no, I don't know, I'm going to change chili. When Issei came out changed into Kuoh's uniform. Issei, what a drag to go to school, but I promised my teachers, he said, to look at his watch. It's still early, I'm going to bed, he said, to lie down and fall asleep. Present. Isay, he looks so cute when he sleeps, she said, seeing Issei blushing. Ddraig, Siskona, he said mockingly. Isay fell silent since Issei is supposed to know nothing about the supernatural. So she moved Issei slowly so he would wake up. Isay, wake up, we have to go to school. Issei, what he said, turning to look at his sister. Who are you and what are you doing in my room? Isay felt sad because her brother didn't recognize her. Issei, I'm your sister. Issei, oh, that's cool. Isay, Mom told me to let you know so you could come have breakfast. Issei, yes, I'm going right now. Isay just separated from Issei's bed, left his room and closed the door. When his mother came down, she asked him, Veronica, is your brother ready? Isay, yes, only that his room is full of expensive things. Tatsumi, how? Isay, if you have a computer and a console. While they were discussing how he was able to get money to buy that, Issei was going down the stairs and saw them, and Isay, Veronica and Tatsumi saw Issei. Veronica, hi son, looks like you fell asleep again. Tatsumi, hello, how are you, my champion? Issei, fine, he said, but since he wasn't used to it, he took out his cell phone and looked at the time and pretended to be impressed to say the following: God, it's so late, I'm sorry I have to go, it's just that I was going to go with some friends to buy a video game, sorry I'm leaving. Veronica, wait, son, we can accompany you and go as a family. I couldn't finish the sentence as she saw the door close. Outside, the chestnut tree was already visible. Issei, damn, if it worked, I'm sorry family, but damn, let a few days go by and maybe I'll trust them, said Perry. Since I didn't eat breakfast, her stomach was asking for food. I left without eating breakfast, she said with a dark aura over her, but she saw a light of hope, and it was thank God for a chimichanga stand, she said as she ran towards them. While in the Hyoudou house, they were sad because they saw that it was a lie that Issei told them, and they understood since they had left him alone, but they would try everything possible to make them a happy family. And well, on her first day it was a scandal for Isay since she became famous in a few hours, since she didn't have an enviable body like certain people. Cough cough laughs and Akino cough cough, but she was beautiful. She showed that she was smart, and that sometimes she defended the little kids from the bullies, and they compared her to Sona, but Isay didn't care. On the other hand, Issei showed himself to be a nice and very unruly boy, and he almost didn't raise his hands to answer a question, but when they chose him he answered well. And well, a week had passed, and on one occasion at school it was lunchtime and Isay was walking hoping to see his brother, but he saw a group of bullies approaching him. Isay was thinking about going and telling them to leave him alone, and if necessary he would hit them. But he saw something that made him curious. He saw Issei grab the leader by the collar of his shirt, you could say, and Issei said something in his ear. The bully leader just got scared when Issei let go. He just told his companions to leave quickly, and after that day they didn't bother Issei again. And well, for the Hyoudou family, they didn't do very well with improving the relationship with Issei, since when he arrived he just went to his room, changed, and went out to the street. Sometimes at night they waited for him and saw that it was late, and when Issei arrived they asked him where he was. He just told them that he went to a party and went to his room. But the family would not give up and would do everything possible for them to be the family they always wanted. Chapter 2, Encounter. It had been a while since the Hyoudou brothers entered. Isay is popular, and Issei is normal, you could say. While today you could see Kiba going to Isay's classroom, and while Kiba went to Isay's classroom he received compliments like, how handsome, and stuff like that. When I arrived at Isay's living room, he said to him, Kiba, hello Isay, good morning, he said with a smile. Isay, what do you want? She already knew this was a demon. Kiba, my president is calling you, please, he said. Isay, okay, let's go. She already had the idea because I called her, and she just wanted to finish as quickly as possible. While they were walking, everyone was watching this and saying, it can't be that the Prince of Kuoh is with Isay. Do you think they're dating? And those rumors. But Isay realized that they were going to her brother's classroom, and she was going to complain, but she couldn't because they arrived at Issei's classroom. And when Kiba opened the door, Issei was in front of the blackboard singing, making everyone laugh. Issei, table, table, table that claps the most, table that claps the most, table that claps the most, I send the girl, he sang, and saw that the door was open, seeing that his sister and Kiba were there. Kiba, excuse me, Issei, do you think you can join us? Said Isay. He was going to complain, but he couldn't complete the sentence because Issei spoke first. Issei, yes, of course, he said calmly. The three of them were already heading towards the occult club. When they arrived, Kiba knocked on the door 3 times and a female voice was heard saying, "Come in." When they opened the door, they could see Rias and Sona's entourage. Rias, thank you very much, Kiba. She said this so that Kiba would just sit on the sofa. You're probably wondering why I called you, right? Well, first of all, do you believe in the supernatural? Isay was going to speak, but Issei spoke. Issei, or if the demons, angels, Sirzechs, Dracula, aliens or no, that is not forgiven, he would smile, leaving a drop of sweat on everyone. Isay, let's go, Issei. Let's not stay with these otakus, he said seriously. Issei, you went too far, I'm an otaku. Low blow, he said while walking out of the club, leaving Isay sad for what he said. How funny, he believed it. While in the room there was silence until Rias broke the silence. Rias, well, I guess you ex. She couldn't finish speaking because Isay spoke. Isay, I know who you are, Rias Gremory, a high-class devil, and her entourage, and Sona Citri, just like Rias and her entourage. I'm not interested in each one's story, just tell me what you need me for. She said angrily. Rias, well, we wanted to ask if you wanted to join my entourage, she said seriously. Sona, I don't believe Isay because you don't join my entourage. Isay, I won't join any of them. Don't worry about giving me luxuries and I won't be their lapdog. Rias, okay, but what about your brother? She asked curiously. Isay, don't involve him in this. He doesn't know anything about the supernatural and I won't allow you to involve him in this, he said, raising his aura, making everyone tremble because of that. Sona, that aura is amazing, she said fearfully. Isay, yes, I am Isay the Security Ddraig, and the most powerful. Everyone was trembling with fear because they had made her angry. While outside Issei was listening to music and felt his sister's aura, he decided to go and tell her that he was hungry and that they should leave. This is the music Issei listened to. In the club, Isay was increasing his aura more and more, but he felt that his brother's aura was approaching, so he lowered his aura. When Issei arrived at the club, he opened the door. Issei, sister, let's go, I'm hungry, he said like a child. Isay, okay little brother, let's go, he said with a smile as they left the club in shock. When they got home this time, Issei helped his mother cook and finally spoke to his family, leaving the Hyoudou family happy. It was already Friday and in the Hyoudou family's house everything was quiet, the family trying to live with Issei, but they receive a call from the Mao. I don't know if I wrote it correctly, sorry, Sirzechs, so they could have dinner in the underworld. The parents and sister got angry because they had plans to be with Issei and all that collapsed, and the parents told him that they had to go somewhere to Issei, and he took it neutrally since he was always alone. Already in the underworld was the entourage of Rias and Sirzechs and his wife, in front of the Hyoudou family. Sirzechs, it's good that you came, he said with a smile. Tatsumi, yes, thank you very much for inviting us. Sirzechs, you're welcome. Why don't we sit down while the food is ready? Tatsumi, it's okay. And everyone sat down, and dinner was just to be careful since there were attacks from renegade demons. Also to make an alliance. Obviously everyone agreed and talked, but Isay was angry since she wanted to be with her brother and live with him, but this meeting did not let her, and she had to endure it. While in a bar, Issei was drunk singing something. Issei, this hip goes to my in-laws even though I don't have a girlfriend and no hip in-laws either. The next day Issei woke up but not very well. Issei, oh God, my head hurts, he said, getting out of bed. At least I took a bath at night so they wouldn't suspect, even though they couldn't tell me anything good. What else, he said, going down, seeing his family living with Rias, Asia, Akino, Kaneko, and Kiba. How the Gremory family made an alliance with the Hyoudou family so they could establish a better friendship and improve their relationship. Obviously it was only the girl's girl, not he was just visiting, but then they changed Issei's memory. So He would think they were exchange students. Hello, good morning, don't tell me anything, I'm going to the arcade until next time, he said, walking out the door, leaving the Hyoudou family sad and with doubts in Rias's entourage. The Hyoudou family explained to them and they understood why Issei was like that, but they recommended that they tell them everything about the supernatural, maybe that way he would understand, but they denied it because they didn't want him to get hurt. And well, days passed, and as the Mao had said, there were attacks from rogue demons, and on one occasion Veronica faced one, and through carelessness her arm was injured and she could have removed the wound with a snap of her fingers, but so that Issei wouldn't suspect she put on a bandage, and that day Issei made food for everyone in the house, and the parents were sad since they saw that their son was independent. But leaving that aside, there was a talk that Issei will never forget. Flashback. The food that Issei had made was already served and Rias was speaking. Rias, you cook so well, Issei. You would be a good husband, she said with a smile, making Issei blush, and Veronica and Isay had a dark aura scaring Issei and Tatsumi. Isay, yes, it's true, my little brother cooks very well, he said with a forced smile. Veronica, you're right, daughter, but Issei will never give him up, she said with a forced smile, just like Isay. End of flashback. After that, Issei talked more with his family and also with the Gremory entourage, making some of them become more confident in them and removing the guilt they had towards themselves. For example, Issei spoke to Akino and this made Akino accept herself, making the smile she gave real and not fake, and when she was around Issei she was shy, which was noticed by Rias. With Kiba, he told him that he wanted revenge and that it was his fault for something, obviously not telling him about the supernatural like Akino. Issei told him that revenge is sometimes good and other times bad, but % bad. Even so, he told him that if he wanted revenge it was what his friends wanted, that he avenged them or that he live his life, making Kiba reflect that he already had confidence in himself. With Kaneko, he only spoke to her, and she told him that she had problems with her sister, omitting the supernatural, and that her sister did something very serious when they were little, and Issei told her that maybe she did it with good intentions, protecting her, doing what an older sister does, leaving Kaneko in doubt and accepting herself. Rias was grateful to Issei since thanks to him I was able to make his entourage better than before. Rias also apologized to Isay, making them friends, and Sona also apologized. Chapter 3. Battle with the Chicken. It had been a while since Gremory's entourage had moved, but they were sad since in the raiding game they lost against Razor Phoenix, and now Rias had to marry him. And well, Issei was in the park thinking, Issei, oh God, it was no use that I was the psychologist of his entourage. Although I did it because I like them and they are my friends, I did it so they would accept each other, and even so they lost. If they had accepted each other before and had trained they would have won. Well, as a song says, the paths of life are not as I thought, said this one, but he felt that he was being watched. Whoever is there, leave now if you don't want me to kill you. You are very good at sensing auras, he said. Issei, what do you want from my Mao? Sirzechs, I wanted to know if you could do me a small favor. Issei, what do you want me to do? Kill people. No thanks. I don't do that. Sirzechs, no, I don't want you to do that. It's something more important. Issei, I'm listening. Delight me with what you're going to tell me. Sirzechs, well, I want you to please break my sister's engagement with Razor when it's time. Issei, okay, but what do I gain? Sirzechs, well, you win. He couldn't continue because Issei interrupted him. Issei, no, forget it, I don't want anything, I just want to fight. Sirzechs, okay, the engagement will be in 3 days, please go and break my engagement. Again he couldn't continue because Issei interrupted him again. Issei, yes, whatever, let's see each other, he said as he stood up and walked away, but came back surprisingly. Hey, will my family be there? Sirzechs, yes, for? Issei, not for nothing, goodbye, and he was going home. So my family will be there. Well, I'll go and introduce myself and they'll know who I am. Oh man, I sound like the ones in video games, how cute I am. After that he arrived home. Since it was night he entered carefully so as not to wake anyone up. He went up the stairs to go to his room, and on the way he saw Rias's room half open and saw something that made him sad. Rias, because I want to marry the person I love, not him. Sniff. Rias was crying because she didn't want to marry Razor. Issei just walked away and went to his room in silence. Time skip. It was already night, and the Hyoudou family went to the underworld to see the engagement of Rias, Gremory and Razor Phoenix, giving him a sleeping potion, but it had no effect and he just pretended to be asleep. When Issei's parents and his sister left, He went down to the living room and waited for the time to go since he had a brochure to go to the underworld. Issei. What a drag, I want to sleep, but well, I will free Rias since it seems that she will suffer after that. I am going to have a freestyle battle. He looked at his watch and said it's time. Underworld. Guests for Gremory's engagement to Phoenix could be seen, but Rias's entourage and the Hyoudou family were sad. Kiba. If only I had been stronger, he said, clenching his fists angrily. Sorry. Don't look down on yourself. It's a shame this happened. I wish I could do something, she said sadly for her friend. Some were happy but others were sad. But suddenly Razor appears. Razor, nobles of the underworld, it is an honor to have you here. I, Razor Phoenix, have an announcement, and that is that today Rias Gremory and I confirm our engagement. He said this and Rias appeared, but at that moment, the door was opened by a guard who threw him out. Razor, what the hell? He said angrily. Issei, what's up, bitch? I'm here if I talk to you, Kentucky chicken, he said mockingly. Razor, and who are you to call me like that? The great Razor Phoenix, he said angrily. Issei, well, I am a peanut, sorry, I had to put a grinning face with sweat. I am Batman, he said mockingly again. Everyone was amazed that someone would speak to him like that. But the most amazed were the Hyoudou family and Rias's entourage, since he was supposed to know nothing about the supernatural, and now he had come to the commitment of the demons. Issei, I challenge you to a duel, he said, you against me. How about fried chicken? Razor, you are a... He couldn't continue since Sirzechs interrupted. Sirzechs, so, are you sure you want to challenge Razor? Issei, act well, you bastard. If you hired me without receiving anything in return, yes, I'm sure, he said with a poker face and his thumb up. Sirzechs, and you, Razor, accept? Razor, yes, I'll show this idiot who he messed with, he said angrily. Issei, well, if I win they release Rias from this commitment, and if I lose they kill me. Razor, this will be a piece of cake. Issei, if I lose they'll kill me, don't buck with me, I can't even die. Sirzechs, okay then let's begin, he said to take them to a pocket dimension. And then Grayfia presented the duel. Grayfia, good evening. In this duel, Razor Phoenix and the boy face each other for Rias's freedom, she said, and said boy since no one knew his name well, begin. In the sand, Razor, you're going to see. Damn it for Humi, he couldn't continue speaking because Issei hit him in the face. Issei, please be quiet, my head hurts, he said, then hitting him several times on the body and then hitting him in the face, sending him flying. Razor stood up and said, Razor, how dare you? He said to charge a powerful attack and send it to Issei, but he didn't move and hit her, it was just pure talk. In the stands, Issei's family and Rias's entourage, including Rias, watched in amazement as Issei hit him, but when they saw Razor, he sent a powerful attack at him, and he didn't dodge it. They were about to cry until, Issei, that's all you have, he said coming out of the dust dash. Razor, how? He said with fear. Issei, well, it's my turn, he said as he walked towards him. Razor, wait, you don't know what you're doing, this is an I can't finish because Issei hit him in the stomach. Issei, you are weak, he said to continue hitting the face and the body, and Razor does not regenerate quickly well. It's time for the finishing blow, he said to take flight with his right arm and hit him in the face. Game over. He said this but saw that Razor kept moving, but his sister Revel went to stop Issei from killing him. Revel, please don't do anything to my brother, she said worriedly. Issei, it's okay, but change that attitude and take care of yourself, little one, he said to make the peace sign. In the stands everyone was shocked by what they saw, as a stranger had defeated a high-class demon. But Issei went straight to Sirzechs. Issei, ready, I'm going, take care of me. Crack, he said as he left in a magic circle. Sirzechs, crack, what is that? He said curiously, while the Hyoudou family and Rias's entourage asked him how they knew him. Sirzechs just said that he was watching him and that was it. But that Issei felt it, and that it was very difficult since he had hidden his aura very well. While at the Hyoudou residence a circle was arriving at Issei's room. Issei, how easy it was. As a reward I'm going to sleep since tomorrow will be a hard day since they'll ask me how I did that, he said as he lay down on his bed and fell deeply asleep. But suddenly Issei found himself in a white place. Issei, where am I? Hello, he said neutrally. Hello, he said animatedly. Issei, who are you? / we are. Chapter 4 I'm your what? / we are. Issei, come on, speak one by one because if they speak at the same time I don't understand. It's okay, they know me as the father of humanity. I am Adam, he said in a neutral voice. They already know me as the strongest loser. I'm Sasaki Kojiro, he said happily. Issei, okay, but please answer, why are you here? Adam, well, we're here since you're our reincarnation. Issei, how? Sasaki, yes, as you heard, you are our reincarnation. Issei, but why me? Adam, because you are a strong and good-hearted person. Sasaki, besides your family abandoning you, you still love them. Adam, besides, you care about everyone. Issei, okay, I didn't know that, but well, what about you all? Tell me something about you since you know about me. But I don't know anything about you, he said curiously. Adam, you're right, excuse us. Well, to summarize, we are not from this dimension. Issei, how? Adam, yes, but let me tell you my story, since I am very different from this Adam from your dimension. He is very weak and does not have the same abilities as me. And so Adam told him everything we know about his story. But when Adam showed him the part where Eve is almost abused by the snake, you could say, Issei got so angry that he would even terrify Trihexa, and he made Adam and Sasaki feel terror, but Adam understood him. And so Sasaki told him his story of how he became the strongest loser, and how he defeated a god, and Issei had his eyes like little stars because he saw how Adam almost defeated the father of the gods and Sasaki defeated the most feared god. But Issei was sad because Adam died to protect them. Issei, and what happened after their fights? He asked intrigued. Adam, well, the tournament ended in a tie and the gods and humans had a peace agreement that everyone would change and thus the world of that dimension changed. This is a story that I made up, just to clarify that. Issei, but how come you are here? Sasaki, it's that we are dead and unfortunately something happened that saddened us a lot. Issei, and what is it? Adam, a person arrived who destroyed our dimension. Issei, but how? Adam, he calls himself Drax the Destroyer of Universes. Sorry, I couldn't think of another name. When they showed him how Drax was killing everyone, even the gods, very easily, since a god of that dimension in his Issei dimension corresponded to the level of the mouse, Issei was already terrified by that. But he was taken out of his thoughts since Adam spoke to him. Adam, and thanks to a Valkyrie, our souls were sent here to find someone strong and kind-hearted, someone pure, to protect the dimensions, and that's you, Issei. Issei, but how am I going to be able to defeat him? He is very powerful. Sasaki, that's why we will give you our abilities so that you can protect your dimension and defeat it once and for all. And suddenly the two of them threw a beam at Issei so that all of his powers and even memories and feelings would pass on to him. Issei, it feels good, but what skills did you give me? Adam, since Sasaki gave me his sword skills. Adam, I gave you my ability, which is the eyes of the Lord. Adam, and not only that, but also divine strength, divine durability, divine speed and reflexes, and indomitable will. Issei, okay, that's a lot and I understand all the others. But what does the Lord's Eye ability do? Adam, this ability can perfectly emulate any movement he sees, regardless of its speed and power. He can also perfectly avoid and counter any blow with an exact copy of himself. Issei, but they know that I have other powers, right? Adam, yes, but this way you will be able to defeat Drax more easily, and what do you say if you will help your dimension? Issei, okay, I will do it, but will Eva reincarnate here too? Adam, yes, I took her soul with me. But I still don't know if she has found someone. But when you find her, please protect her and don't let her cry. That's what I ask of you, please. Issei, it's okay. Besides that, they transferred their powers to me, also their memories and feelings, and I swear that I will protect Eva with my soul. Adam, thank you very much. Issei, thank you very much, he said crying. Issei, yes, but I'll have to improve the gentleman's eyes, right? Adam, yes, because if not, the same thing that happened to me will happen to you. But it will be easier for you since you have more resistance. Issei, okay. Sasaki, well, since Adam already gave you that, I'll give you these swords. Issei, and what are those swords or what? Sasaki, well, when we got here someone gave me those swords, and the first is the sword of Archangel Michael and the second I know it's going to be impossible, but it's the sword of God. Issei, wow, really, he said amazed. Sasaki, yes, and well, if you want the first sword, you can keep it or give it to Archangel Michael. That will be your decision. But before saying anything, first grab the sword of God. Issei, it's okay, just when I grabbed everything a bang was heard, it feels good. Sasaki, it seems like he has accepted you. That's good, he said with a smile. Issei, It feels great, but if this is my mind, how will I get the swords? Sasaki, don't worry. When you wake up, you'll see the swords there. Issei, okay. Adam, well, to finish and for the skills to be strengthened, we will merge our souls with you. Issei, okay, let's go there. Then the two of them turned into balls of energy and entered Issei's body, and just as they entered Issei's body, beep 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 beep. Look at those sounds, V. Issei. Oh my god, what happened? Then he stands up and looks at himself in a mirror and saw that his appearance changed. But what? This is Issei but without the glove or tattoos. Issei. Wow, so those are the consequences of me fusing with them, he said to look in his closet and see the swords there. Well, it seems that it was true that the swords would be there, he said to close the closet. Well, first I think I will explain to my family all that about how I got my powers and that, and then I will train to protect everything I love, also the people I hated, since everyone should be treated equally, he said to look at the window. I hope she is already reincarnated, and I swear that I will become strong to be able to protect her and not make her cry, he said to change her clothes to these dash. He put on those pants and those tennis shoes. Issei, well, let's solve the family problem and then train to be the strongest, although I already am, so I think with a gem I'll have to create a room to train. Well, let's start this hell, he said as he left the room and went down to the living room, and there was his family and the Gremory entourage. But then Issei's father tells him, Tatsumi, we need to talk, he said seriously. Chapter 5, Discussion. Tatsumi, we need to talk, he said seriously. Issei, I'm sorry but I have to go somewhere, so until next time. Veronica, Issei, your father told you she couldn't finish the sentence because she noticed his change, but what happened to you? Your hair changed. Issei, this is cool, I don't like it either. Izari, but before I had brown hair, she said worriedly. Issei, well, no way now, he said shrugging his shoulders. Tatsumi, well, but leaving that aside, tell me, how do you know about the supernatural? Please, he said curiously. Issei, what for or what? Tatsumi, has Issei answered the question? He shouted angrily. Issei, you know I'm leaving now, he said as he went to the door. Veronica, don't wait, son, please, she said sadly. We are worried about you, she said worriedly. But the next thing they heard would break their hearts and souls. Issei, worried, yes, of course, and all those years that I tried to talk to them so that they would feel proud of me, that I could also be someone powerful even if I didn't have a sacred gear like my sister. I tried everything to try to get their attention, get low grades, good grades, get into fights and everything so that they would hug me. I only asked for a little damn love from you so that I would feel happy, the love of some parents. But what happened? Nothing, not even mothers. Instead of paying attention to me, pure scolding and hitting. There weren't many, but even so I tried to get their attention, and it's not like before when I was that. I sat in my bed at night crying and said, when Mom and Dad arrive so that you can give me a hug. And you know that you don't need you to worry about me anymore because I learned to take care of myself. I learned to play basketball. I learned to drive, play instruments and sing. I had my first girlfriend alone. I spent years of my life taking care of. I'm alone, so don't worry about me, he said angrily, and the last thing was shouting. Everyone was in shock at what Issei had said, but the most devastated was Issei's family by what he had said, since they had seen that he grew up alone and became someone good, but without them helping him, and Issei's mother and sister just cried like never before. But his father was just disappointed in himself and shedding a few tears at what his son had said. Issei, well, but changing the subject because I got sidetracked, I'll tell you how I know about the supernatural, he said as he sat down on the couch. After sitting on the couch, he told them everything that happened to him, and everyone was surprised. But the ones who started to cry the most were the mother and daughter, since when Issei told them that he was killed, they felt like the worst garbage in life. His father also felt that way since he was not there at that moment to support him. Issei, well, without further ado, that's my story, and if you'll allow me, I have to do something, he said to get up from the chair. But before he could leave, he was stopped by his mother. Veronica, wait, son, do you think you can forgive us? She said sadly and with a little hope. Issei, I don't know. I spent many years alone and I don't know whether to forgive them or not, he said undecidedly. Izari, please brother, sniff, forgive us, sniff, we swear that we will never separate from you again, sniff, sniff, please forgive us, I want us to be a family again, sniff, sniff, she said sadly. But something that surprised everyone was that Izari had knelt before Issei. Even he was surprised. Issei, but why do you do that? If someone saw you, you would ruin your figure as someone powerful, he said calmly. Isay, I don't give a shit about my figure, sniff sniff, I just want us to do it again like before, sniff sniff, I will kneel no matter how many times it takes for you to forgive us, sniff sniff, she said sadly. But something that surprised everyone even more was that Issei's father and mother knelt before him. Tatsumi, please, son, forgive us. We promise that you will never be alone again. Veronica, yes please, son, sniff sniff, I'll give you all the mother's love that I didn't give you, sniff sniff. Please forgive us, sniff sniff. While Issei was thinking, Issei, damn dude, they knelt down, I didn't think they would go that far, maybe I'll give them a chance, it seems they regret it. Okay, but stop, I'll think about it, okay, but in the meantime I have to do something like that, bye, he said, running out of the house, leaving the Hyoudou family with a little hope dash. Meanwhile with Issei, maybe I'll give them a chance so I can see what family is like, but well, I have to run. Otherwise they won't let me do that. At that, Issei arrived at a house where a hooded person was waiting for him. Where were you? He asked irritably. Issei, sorry, it was a little late for me, he said, embarrassed dash. Well, you won't be able to win a battle. But in a minute, since you're famous, that wish will be granted to you, he said mockingly. Issei, leave that. Let's go since I'm going to be late. Then they left, and in one place a representative appeared. Representative, are you ready for the next thing? He said excitedly. Audience, yes. Representative, well, since there is no rival for this boy who is going to continue with his minute, so welcome my ISSSCEI, he shouted excitedly. Sorry, I still don't know what rap name to give him. At that everyone screams and Issei appears with his face covered. But someone interrupted and said to Issei since he was on stage, Person X, do you really think you can be a rapper? Surely you don't know your name? Issei, I'm sure you want me to prove it to you, and then the music starts dash. And everyone was impressed by what Issei had responded to that person. Meanwhile at the Hyoudou house, in one room you could see Isay in her pajamas looking at the window, more specifically at the moon. That's what Ddraig is talking about. Ddraig, I still can't believe you kneel before your brother. Isay, you should, because I'll do everything possible to make us a family again. Ddraig, okay, but why didn't you tell him the other thing when you could have? He asked. Isay, no, it's not yet time to tell Issei what I feel. Besides, I was going to think that he would forgive us, so I'll wait. Ddraig, well, it's your decision. I'm going to sleep, so rest, friend. And so Ddraig fell asleep. Isay, lazy lizard, at that she touches her heart, and says, Issei, I know I did wrong in abandoning you. You were little, but now that I'm here I won't leave you again, I'll always be with you, Issei, because I love you, she said the last thing with affection, and then went to sleep. Meanwhile elsewhere, a woman could be seen thinking about how she would meet her beloved again. How are you? She asked herself. Meanwhile elsewhere, you could see a woman in the same conditions thinking about how she would meet her beloved again. I hope you're okay, and the girls at the same time said, /Adam, Chapter 6, First Meeting. After Issei had that little argument with his family, their relationship improved as they talked more and went out to places. Although Issei was strange, since whenever he was alone or in a place his sister was always stuck to him. No matter where he went, his sister always went behind him like a younger sister following her older brother. Obviously, when he went to the bathroom or to bathe, he told her that he was no longer allowed it. Obviously his sister did not always follow him. Also, not only his sister was behind Issei, but also Rias, Akino, Asia and Kaneko, since they always tried to get in the bath with him, or even fought over who would feed him and stuff like that. Even one day when Issei woke up he felt lumps around him, and when he removed the sheets he saw Rias, Akino, Asia and Kaneko in his bed naked. Issei just prayed to God that it was a dream, because otherwise when he met Eva and if she found out about it, things would go very, very badly for him. Well, that being explained, the same thing happened in the anime with Kiba and the swords. The arrival of the Zenovia and Irina church, and this time they fought with Kiba and Isay. And so until the day Kokabiel arrived there, mentioning that God died, and everyone was impressed, but the most affected were Asia, Zenovia and Irina. Then Kokabiel made a spear and hit it against the gym, making a crater, and everyone was impressed, but Kokabiel was going to throw another one, but it was heard in the background. Issei, this is how I wanted to grab you, pig. Note that Issei wasn't there until she said that. Kokabiel, who is the idiot who told me that? He shouted angrily. Issei, I'm the red grasshopper, he said, appearing and hitting Kokabiel in the face, throwing Kokabiel many meters away. Issei, they didn't count on my cunning. Issei, what are you doing? She asked worriedly. Issei, well, what more saving them? Kokabiel, damn it! He said to go very quickly to Asia. Issei will not kill you. But when Kokabiel arrived towards Issei, he hit him several times while Issei quickly dodged him. Issei, very slow, he said as he grabbed one of his hands and hit him in the stomach with the other, while Kokabiel was vomiting blood. Kokabiel, yuck. Issei, Wakala, I'd better finish this, he said with a ring pointing at him. I'd better transfer the gems to a ring since if I wear a glove it will be very cumbersome or good for me. Issei, see you later baby, he said, activating the power gem to disintegrate Kokabiel. What happened? Issei, I just ceased to exist. Well, I had to take this guy. But it seems I won't be able to anymore, they'll scold me. Issei, hey dude, I hear voices now, I'm like Deadpool. No, that guy is crazy. While with the man. Deadpool, achoo, someone is talking about me. I must not be crazy. Voice, no, you're not crazy, friend. Voice, you're right, you're not crazy, my friend. Deadpool, sniff, thanks sniff, they are my true friends. Sniff. Killer, what is this man doing? Killer, I don't know. Deadpool, so where were we like this? He said to kill the assassins. How funny. We return in the DXD dimension. Isay, who are you? Vala, I am Vala the White Emperor Dragon. Albion, hello Red. Ddraig, hello White. Isay, so you are my rival. Vala, I never thought my rival was a girl. I'll give you an advantage. Isay, don't get too carried away. Issei, okay, take care of yourself. But at that moment the Sona team arrived. Vala, well, I better go. Albion, see you later, Ddraig, for our battle. Ddraig, I say the same thing. After that, Vala went with the team to see Issei's brother, thinking he was there by coincidence. Sona, I guess you are Issei. Issei, ding ding ding, you got it right. Saji, but what are you doing here? Weren't you supposed to know nothing about this? Issei, well, surprise, well now I'm leaving. He couldn't continue because someone spoke. So you are Issei, the protector of this dimension. You don't seem like a big deal. At that, Issei turns around and is startled to see Issei. Drax, while you know me, good that you know my name, but it won't be for long, he said, taking out his sword. Surprise me and give me a good fight. Rias, I won't allow it. He couldn't continue speaking because everyone there was covered by a shield. Kiba, but what? Issei, you said this because you saw that he was outside and not with them. Issei, I'm sorry, but this is my battle, not yours, he said, taking out the sword of God and putting himself in combat form. Imagine it's Issei. Drax, so those bastards gave you their powers, huh? Issei, what can I say? They trusted me and I won't let them down. Drax, ready? Issei, ready. While doing that, after that, the two of them launched themselves at each other, remaining like that. Drax, you're fast, congratulations. Issei, less talk, more action, he said, to keep fighting. Sorry if I only say how they are supposed to be fighting. It's because I don't know how to narrate sword fights very well. Something like that, but just imagine the other guy has swords and they are Issei and Drax. Meanwhile, the others watched in terror as they fought like that, even impressing Kiba and Zenobia since they had never seen that type of fight. In the fight, Drax with a sword blow managed to make Issei's sword fall down. Drax, are you giving up? He said with a smile, as Issei smiled back. Issei, bad choice. Making the next move. Drax, what the buck? But he couldn't react in time, causing Issei to cut him. But imagine it's Drax and he's bleeding. Drax, well done kid, you're the first one who's managed to hurt me. I congratulate you, but for now I'll let you live. I was just testing you. Issei, yes, weaha, whatever you say. Drax, train harder or I'll destroy your dimension, he said as he walked through a doorway with a smile. Issei, damn, I didn't think I'd meet him so quickly. Thank God I managed to hurt him. God, he's dead. Haha, it's not funny anyway. But something caught Issei's attention, and it was his sister's scream. Isay, Issei. Oh, I think I distracted him and the barrier was deactivated. Issei, are you okay? Nothing happened to you? She asked, worried about her little brother. Issei, yes, I'm fine, don't worry. Rias, I already knew you handled the sword, but I didn't think you handled it perfectly. Issei, yes, hee. Kiba, hey, you're good. Do you think we could have a duel? Issei, if you want. But what Issei knew is that his fight made him catch the attention of the factions. Not all of them, since he did not use all his power, but he managed to catch the attention of the demons, angels and fallen angels. Issei, oh, better go now. I'm sleepy and hungry, so let's go home," he said as he walked away, leaving everyone behind, but the Sona team was still impressed by what they saw. While with Issei, I thought something else. Issei, I have to train more because otherwise she'll beat me and everything will go to shit. Captain America. Language. Issei, what's up, God? I think Deadpool gave me his madness, he said as he went home. Chapter 7. Reunion Part 1. Well, after Kokabiel's fight, the same thing would happen as in the anime. The arrival of Zenobia, the cleaning of the pool, but here the same thing happened, Kiba thanking Issei and Issei staying. After that happened, they went to Issei's sister, and after everyone cleaned the pool, the girls were fighting over who would put sunscreen on except Asia, Kaneko, and Zenobia. And Issei had a face like, but well, the same thing happened as in the anime when Sirzechs came to see Rias and stayed with the Hyoudou family, and they felt good since they had a demon king living under their roof, and Issei didn't care much, but just like in the anime, Sirzechs stayed to sleep in Issei's room, happy since they treated him like a normal person, and Issei told him that he didn't give a damn about hierarchies and would treat everyone like people. Not like the best existence in the world. They had the same conversation as in the anime, except when he said he was leaving Rias in his care, Issei was like, but they didn't even have the breast talk, like in the anime when Rias went to take Sirzechs to see the surroundings. Asia. They went ahead to school since Issei told them he had things to do, but when Isay was arriving he met Vala. Flashback. Vala, Red Emperor Dragon, how have you been? Isay, White Emperor Dragon, what are you doing here? She asked, upset. Vala, can I come to see my rival? At that moment the entire retinue of estuaries arrives. Vala, so everyone has arrived, right? Rias, what are you doing here? I asked, making everyone stand on guard. Vala, seriously, do you think you can beat me? If you couldn't beat Kokabiel, are you going to think you can beat me, even though the only one who could fight me would be the Succubus? Then Issei arrives with headphones listening to this. Vala saw him and said to him, Vala, so you are the brother of the Succubus? Issei, who are you talking to? He asked, but when he saw he said, what do you want? Vala, nothing, but your guard is down. He said this and stood in front of Issei. Everyone was on guard against this action. Isay, brother, she said, upset dash. But what they were about to hear left them stunned. Issei, come on, go ahead, shoot, I challenge you, dude, he said, grabbing Vala's hand and putting it on his forehead. Come on, do you have the balls or I'll lend them to you? Shoot, go ahead, let's go. At this everyone was shocked, and Vala just withdrew his hand. Issei, don't come here to threaten, otherwise he'll do anything. So, it's better if a cup broke here and everyone goes home. And so Issei went to school. End of flashback. After that small setback, the Gremory entourage looked at Issei with fear since he dared to challenge the White Dragon Emperor, and Issei did not care. He just started watching videos like these. I put this because it was the first one I heard. Then Sirzechs told Rias to release his other bishop, and that's when he released it, but at that moment Issei wasn't there, so just like in the anime, Rias asked Issei for help training Gasper after he told her he was a boy. Isay accepted, and Rias, Ageno and Kiba went to the underworld, leaving the rest of the Gremory entourage trying to train Gasper, but it was almost impossible. But suddenly while they were training Gasper they saw Issei, who was also training in the forest, so they asked him for help to see if he could change his mind, but Issei talked to him. Flashback. Gasper, no, I don't want to go out, the world is very scary. Rias, but Gas. He couldn't continue as Issei put his hand on Rias's shoulder. Issei, let me talk to him. Then Issei stands in front of Gasper's door. Issei, Gasper, come out, let's go. Gasper, no. Issei, even if the person who saved you is in danger. Then at that moment Gasper stopped crying. Issei, you know, I knew someone who gave his life for his children. He never gave up. He continued to protect them, even if it meant losing his life. He overcame his fear and faced it to protect what he loved most. At that moment everyone was surprised because Gasper came out. Gasper, and what happened to him? Issei, he died but protecting what he loved the most, and he never regretted sacrificing himself. Now I'll tell you, will you stay in there and continue with your phobia of people hating you, or will you go out and protect the person who helped you and become strong? Gasper, I will become strong and protect Rias. Issei, that's great, but start putting on boy clothes, please stop. End of flashback. After that talk, Gasper trained hard to keep his word to Issei. Then just like in the anime, Akino, Issei went to receive the sword at Akino's request since she was going to tell him something. After Issei received the sword, she went home telling them that she saw them there, leaving Issei and Akino alone. Just like in the anime, Akino tells Issei the same thing, that she is a fallen angel blah blah blah. Then after Akino told Issei that she hates the fallen angels that even killed him, but Issei told her that maybe she forgot the talk she had with her when Issei was supposed to know nothing about the supernatural, that she will accept herself, and that Issei said that he did not hate her, since she is her and cannot be replaced, and that she should not worry since he would never hate her. After Issei told her those words, Akino only felt that she was falling in love, and even more so with him. But Issei said he was late and said goodbye to Akino, leaving her only to think that she could be the third. And the day of the faction meeting for the peace agreement arrived. On the part of the angels there was Michael, Irina and Gabriel, of the fallen angels Azazel, Vala and Penemu, of the demons the two Mao and the entourage Gremory and Citri. It was the same as in the anime, the battle against the wizards and so on, but this time with Gasper already trained it became easier anyway. After that, Vala betrayed Azazel and fought Isay, but they didn't see that an attack was deflected and went straight to Gabriel, and just when it was going to hit him, Chan, Issei, waters that almost killed people. He said this as he arrived and deflected the attack, and everyone was stunned, but there was something that left them even more stunned. Gabriel, I finally found you. Issei, what Eva? Gabriel, Adam, what's up, my chavos? Sorry for not posting daily episodes, but you'll understand, right? Lots of homework and bullshit. Anyway, I hope you liked it. See you in another episode. This will be Gabriel. This will be Penemu. Now we'll see each other. If not so many changes, it was that I forgot to put them. Okay, hand. Chapter 8. Reunion Part 2. After that scene they didn't stop fighting Isay and Vala, and then another ball of energy came out towards Penemu, and Penemu just thought, Penemu, seriously, another attack is coming towards me? Well, it doesn't matter, I'm used to it, she thought expressionlessly as she prepared to receive the impact. Everyone was watching this too, and Azazel felt powerless since he could not save the one he considered his daughter. Yes, gentlemen, here Azazel is Penemu's adoptive father, and Penemu will be single since I think I read that in the light novel she is married. And well, later I will tell Penemu's story here, and she will be years old. Penemu. They only awaited the impact of this. Penemu only awaited her death since the energy ball was very powerful. But they saw something that shocked them, and that is that Issei stood in front of her receiving the impact, and everyone was impressed since they thought he would die, but they heard something that made them tremble with fear. Issei, enough! He shouted, expelling some of his energy, making everyone feel a chill all over their bodies. Something like that. After he expelled his power, all the dust dispersed, leaving Issei seeing that he didn't have a single scratch. Issei, are you okay? He said with a smile, turning to look at Penemu. Penemu, yes, thank you, she said, stuttering and surprised. Who is he? Why did he protect me? Why am I doing like this? Thought the fallen angel. Issei, that's good, he said, and turned to see those who were fighting. It would be better if you finish this if you don't want me to do it, he said seriously, and with a look that would make anyone kneel before him. Something like that. Everyone was very afraid because of his look and what he had said. But someone looked at him with love, and that was Gabriel. Since being the reincarnation of Eve, he remembered how Adam protected his children and cared for them, even giving his life for them. Isay, but brother, I'm here, I didn't finish saying because Issei spoke. Issei, look, I don't care if you hurt someone here, it doesn't matter if you're my sister, I'll hurt you, he said with the same look. Isay, SSSS brother, pardon, he said as the balance breaker disappeared. Vala, and who are you to interrupt our fight? He said indignantly. Albion, partner, you shouldn't have said that, said Albion with fear since he felt Issei's power. Issei, I'm your worst nightmare if you don't repent and leave. I'm someone considerate, so it would be better if you didn't make me angry, he said calmly but seriously. Vala, then he defeats you. He couldn't continue because Issei hit him in the stomach, making Vala vomit blood. Issei, I warned you, he said, and then kicked him in the face. Vala, bad, say it. Issei, I know, I'm beautiful. Vala, then at that moment Biko comes out. Biko, they really beat you up, he said smiling. Vala, shut up, he left it for later to point at the Hyoudou brothers. Next time I will defeat them, he said furiously. Issei, Simon, wash it, and your Biko, say hello to Curious George. After that, Vala and Biko left through a magic circle. Issei, haha, what idiots. After that Gabriel approached Issei. Gabriel, now we can talk properly. Issei, true, but since we don't know each other, let me introduce myself. I'm Issei Hyoudou, nice to meet you. Gabriel, nice to meet you, I'm Gabriel, a seraph, nice to meet you and thank you for protecting me, she said blushing. Issei, it's nothing, I must protect my beloved life, he said with a smile. Gabriel could only blush while the other girls watched this with jealousy, although Penemu was a little bothered even though she didn't want to accept it. Michael, hello Issei, that's your name, right? He said with a forced smile since he was flirting with his brother. Issei, in person, he said, this is a worse cking than Sirzechs. Then everyone approached Issei and were asking him how he got that power and blah blah blah, and Issei so that there would be suspicions that he was very strong since he would receive many marriage proposals, and he just said that he was the reincarnation of Adam and Sasaki from another dimension. Obviously all the leaders were surprised by this, but Michael and Irina had stars in their eyes since they had the father of humanity in front of them, while Issei and Gabriel just watched this with a smile and a drop of sweat on their heads. So after that incident everyone left, but Gabriel told his brother that he had to talk to Issei about something, and he just said okay. Now with Issei and Gabriel. Gabriel, well, since you are the reincarnation of Adam and I am the reincarnation of Eve, I suppose that he couldn't continue because Issei spoke. Issei, yes, we are the reincarnation of each other, but we don't really know each other. Gabriel, yes, sorry, he said sadly because he thought he rejected her. Issei, and that's why I want to know more about you, so let's go on a date on Saturday, what do you say? He said with a smile. Gabriel, yes, we go on a date on Saturday, he said happily. Then Issei's sister approached. Isari, a seraph pleasure. Gabriel, I'm not saying the same thing, I'm saying it seriously and coldly. And you may wonder why this is so. Because Gabriel was interested in Issei long before he was named the reincarnation of Adam, since she was observing humans and saw that everyone was quite happy, but she saw a soul that was suffering, and that was Issei's, since when she went to see why he was like that she saw Issei alone in his room when he was little, and she felt very bad for him since later she saw how he was forgotten by his family. She cried, not in an exaggerated way, but she felt sad for the little one. She wanted to go and keep him company, but she saw something that surprised her, and that was that Issei did not give up and moved forward on his own if no one would help him, and that was what moved Gabriel, and she felt something for him at that moment. From there she observed him. She had practically fallen in love with him, but did not want to accept it to a point that she could not take it anymore, and just let that feeling grow more and more, but she could not go and simply tell him, since she was a seraph and he a human. But one day before the meeting she decided that after that the meeting would happen, she would go with him to get to know him better and have a relationship, and she wouldn't care what others would think. She loved him, but now that she knew that he is the reincarnation of Adam, and she is the reincarnation of Eve, she felt a joy that she couldn't describe. Isari, why does Gabriel talk to me like that? I asked confused. And since Gabriel behaved like this with Isari, it was because she felt upset with Issei's family because they left him alone. Gabriel, you know why, he said with the same tone as before. It was because they left Issei alone for many years. Isari, yes, I know, but he forgave us and we are a family again. Issei, hey, Awanta, I said I forgave them, they still don't have my trust %, and as for the family, we're going little by little. Gabriel, well, I have to go now. See you on Saturday, Issei, he said with a kind voice and love in it. Issei, yes, we'll see each other on Saturday in the afternoon in the plaza. Oh man, no one had ever told me like that. So Gabriel went through a magic circle. Issei, what a nice day. Well, it's night now, but I'm going to watch my favorite show, so bye. Before they left, his sister took his hand. What happened? Isari, could we go together this time? She asked with a blush that she hid by lowering her head. Issei, okay, but let's go. My program is about to start, he said. Then everyone went to the Hyoudu's house. Also the Gremory entourage. When they got home, Issei just grabbed a piece of pizza from the fridge, put it to heat it up, and went to his room, just said goodnight and went into his room, while in the living room his family and the Gremory entourage were discussing what happened, and Issei's parents were impressed but scolded their daughter that underneath she needed to control her power more, and she just said yes and would train more. But when they said that Issei would have a day to chill was felt in the room, and it was her mother who had an aura of death. This caused everyone to be afraid. While in Issei's room, Issei, Okay, I've already set up the antenna so that it will also broadcast programs from Mexico, so let's get started. The intro begins. I always saw it when I went to my grandparents' house. Issei, what a great program, he said. How will my Saturday go with her? He thought a little nervously. And this was that he had already had a girlfriend. They only went out for walks after school, but he never had a good date, and all that was left was to wait for Saturday to see what would happen. Chapter 9, The Date. It's a beautiful day outside. The birds are singing. The flowers are blooming. On days like these, children like you, sorry, bad dialogue. I was in a house, more specifically the Hyoudou Issei residence. I was in his room thinking about what he was going to wear. Issei, what am I going to wear today? God Stanley, help me! While searching through his closet, a little while later, Issei, ready, so I'll go. He's dressed like this, but without glasses. Issei, I look great, he said while making poses. Okay, let's go. He said excitedly, going to the place where he had arranged to meet his love to have their date, but before leaving he had a déjà vu moment, and if you follow me, well then let's leave carefully. And so the ninja version of Issei left his house so that no one would know what time he would leave. Issei, okay, now on to my date, he said excitedly. Meanwhile with Gabriel. Gabriel, what will I wear? What will I wear? She said while looking in her closet. I want to look good for Issei, she said, worried since she didn't know how Issei would react when he saw her. Griselda, excuse me for interrupting you, but what are you doing? This was Griselda, Gabriel's Queen of Hearts card. Gabriel, if I don't know what to wear on my date with Issei and it's today, what do I do? She said desperately and crying comically. Griselda, well, I think it doesn't matter what Issei wears, he will accept her just the way she looks, she said with a smile and a drop of sweat. Gabriel, it's true, thank you friend, he said while hugging her. Griselda, you're welcome, she said while reciprocating the hug. At the meeting place, Issei could be seen at the agreed meeting place while looking at his cell phone. Issei, I think I arrived very early, he said while seeing that it was PM. Yep, I arrived very early. But suddenly someone covers his eyes. Guess who I am, she said mockingly. Issei, I don't know about the third girlfriend I have? He asked, but suddenly his hands are removed from his eyes and he turns to look at Gabriel. Gabriel, what third girlfriend do you have? He said while looking at him in an ugly way. Let's say. Issei, and no, sorry, it wasn't He didn't finish the sentence since he saw how Gabriel was dressed. Issei, you look beautiful, he said while making Gabriel blush. Gabriel, do you really believe it? She stuttered while blushing. Issei, of course you look beautiful, he said while making Gabriel blush more. Well, I think we arrived a little early, right? He asked with a smile. Gabriel, yes, you look good too, she said blushing. Issei, thanks, well then let's start our date, he said excitedly, but just as he was about to walk a voice stopped him. Gabriel, and tell me Issei, who is the third girlfriend, huh? He asked with an innocent smile. Issei or not, after some bucking and talking, they had their date. And well, their date was the same as Makoto and Kotonoha's first date. And well, that's how it all ended. Bye. No kidding, that wasn't their date. The two of them went to places they both liked. But at one point Issei left Gabriel at a table because he was going to eat, and while Issei was going to get the food, Gabriel was waiting for him at the table. But suddenly 3 guys approached Gabriel. Yes, I know, the typical cliché scene where they harass the girl, but it's my bucking FICV, who approached Gabriel to flirt with her, and we'll call them idiots, and, idiot, hey hi babe, don't you want to come with us? He said while putting on a sick smile. Gabriel, no, thank you very much. I'm waiting for someone. Idiot, yes of course, when he comes we'll beat the idiot up. I'm sure the imbecile will cry like a little girl when he sees us. Look who's saying that. Gabriel, excuse me, but he's better than you wouldn't even come close to him, she said angrily. Idiot, what did you say, bitch? He said angrily. So when he said this he was raising his fist to hit her. Gabriel, even though she is a seraphim, she doesn't want to hit them, hurt them, just correct them with words, so she just waited for the blow. She closed her eyes and the blow didn't come, so when she opened them she saw Issei stopping the idiot's fist. Issei, were you trying to hit him? He asked neutrally. Idiot, what do you care? He said, trying to get away. Issei, okay. After Issei said that, he grabbed idiot's head and slammed it on the table that was there, leaving him unconscious. Issei, Wow, he can't stand anything, said this one dash. And that's even though I only used my human strength, not the normal one, thought this one dash. Idiot, you damn, he said to try to hit Issei, but Issei would just dodge it and knee him in the sacred part of the man, making him kneel. Issei, I'm sorry I hurt your bagina, he said to finish it off with a blow to the face. Idiot, son of a bitch, said he, grabbing Issei from behind. Issei, no, bad choice, he said to elbow him in the stomach, making him let go, and Issei took advantage since he grabbed his head and gave him a knee. Well, you couldn't stand anything, he said while he left them there and turned to Gabriel. Are you okay? Gabriel, yes, thank you, she said, blushing since Issei saved her from the trio of idiots. Issei, that's great, hey, let's go somewhere else to eat. It's just that this one is closed, he said with a smile. Gabriel, yes, but you shouldn't have hit them. Maybe by talking we could fix it, she said. Issei, not all the times, sometimes you have to be firm, he said. And after that accident they continued with their date. When it was already nighttime they were in a lit park with a clear sky. Gabriel, thank you very much for taking me to those places, Issei. I had a great time, she said, smiling. Issei, you're welcome, he said, but could you close your eyes for a moment, please? Gabriel, why? I asked. Issei, just trust me, he said with a smile. Gabriel, it's okay, he said and closed his eyes. Issei, okay, wait, he said while taking something out of his pants bag. Ready, open your eyes. When Gabriel opened his eyes he could see that Issei had a necklace in his hands. That's the necklace, Issei. I bought it while you were looking at the candy store, he said with a smile. Gabriel said nothing and just looked down at the ground as tears fell to the ground. Issei, oh damn, you didn't like him. Did I do something wrong? He asked, scared because he thought you didn't like him, or he did something wrong. Gabriel, no, it's not that, sniff, it's just that, sniff sniff. You're the first man who doesn't care about my body, sniff sniff, and treats me like a real woman. Thank you very much, sniff sniff, and thank you very much for the necklace, he said while wiping away his tears. Issei, don't worry, let me put it on for you. Gabriel, yes please. So when Issei put it on, these two stood face to face and were getting closer until they gave each other a tender kiss that showed deep love. Oh man, After a short while, the two of them separated, blushing. Gabriel, well, I have to go. Goodbye, my hero, she said, blushing while activating a magic Verculus. Issei, goodbye, my angel, he said, blushing as Gabriel left. Afterwards Issei just left dancing happily since he had kissed the woman he truly loves, but when he got home he found his mother and the Gremory entourage in the living room. Veronica, where were you? She asked seriously. Issei, soups, if you didn't understand, it's when Kik Batoski was in trouble and said that. Chapter 10. Fighting with a god. So when his mother asked that, Issei replied. Issei, outside playing, he said nervously. Veronica, really? She asked seriously. Issei, of course, if not Confi. But before Issei could finish speaking, Kaneko spoke. Kaneko, you were with a woman, she said seriously, but she had a threatening aura. All what? Issei, shit, he thought. Rias, I want an explanation, she said, angry. Issei, yes, goodbye, he said, leaving like lightning to his room and locking it so they wouldn't enter. All Issei. After that, the next day Issei left his house early so that he wouldn't be bombarded with questions. Then the day would pass normally, avoiding the girls so that they wouldn't ask him questions. Already finishing classes, Issei left school early. Issei, sad face, God, how will I explain to them that I went out with Gabriel? AAA, it's so difficult. He thought. Why so thoughtful, love? Asked a voice behind Issei that he knew very well. Issei, not for nothing, love, don't worry. When he turned around he would see his beloved, who would be stunned by her eyes. Gabriel, pouting and then smiling. Okay, I will trust you, and for you to feel better, he said as he approached his beloved and gave him a kiss on the lips. Issei was a little surprised, but then reciprocated by grabbing her by the waist. It wasn't a lascivious kiss but a tender one. But what the lovers didn't realize was that in the distance the Gremory entourage was watching this angrily, and Akiba with a drop of sweat and Gasper confused. In Grigory. Meanwhile, Grigory is in the room of a fallen angel thinking about the albino. Penemu. Because I can't stop thinking about what did to me, she thought, hugging a pillow. Because every time I remember his face, his beautiful eyes and that smile, my heart doesn't beat faster? She said with a blush on her face. Damn, what's wrong with me? She said, hiding her face with the pillow. Returning to the human world. After a while the two lovers separated from their kiss, looking into each other's eyes, until the albino asked, Issei, by the way, without being rude, what are you doing here, love? I asked, looking at Gabriel. Gabriel, I just wanted to come see my boyfriend, she said with a smile that reflected purity. Issei blushed when he saw her smile, but then he noticed the presence of the Gremory entourage, so he grabbed Gabriel's hand. Gabriel, huh? Issei, let's go. They ran, leaving the girls of the Gremory entourage behind. You can see how they ran and tried to keep up with them, but in the end they got lost. Now with Gabriel and Issei. Issei, sorry, but Rias's entourage was watching us and I didn't want you to feel uncomfortable, he said, smiling with a drop of sweat. Gabriel, don't worry, he replied, smiling back. Issei, so I guess we're taking advantage of the fact that he's here. Why don't we go on a date? Gabriel, yes, she responded enthusiastically. Time passed, and it was already night. Issei had already said goodbye to Gabriel with a kiss, and Gabriel thanked him for today. Issei was walking through the night thinking, Issei, how pretty is my girlfriend, he thought with hearts around him. But suddenly he felt a great power that he could recognize. Then he heard someone. Well, Adam knew how to choose his reincarnation well, said the voice of an old man. Issei, what are you doing here? Zeus said seriously. Zeus, foo, how bad you are to me, he said, but seriously, I only came to destroy you. Issei, if you think you can, try it. Zeus, foo, do you think you can, he said as he began to transform. Do you think you can beat me without your knuckle dusters? He asked. Issei, I don't think so, he said, taking a battle pose. I'm sure, he said with a defiant smile. Then they just stayed silent, and then they launched themselves at each other. Meanwhile, with the Gremory entourage, they were still looking for Issei. Asia, where could Zeus be? I asked, worried about him. Aquino, Era must be fine, but when I find him he will receive a punishment, she said with a smile, while small rays came out of her hand. Rias, I don't know, but you have to explain to me why you were kissing Gabriel, she said, annoyed. Kiba, calm down, said Kiba with his smile and a drop of sweat. But everyone was surprised to feel two immense powers coming from a place very close by. Rias, see how do you have that power, she said, scared by the tremendous power they felt. Aquino, one is from Issei, but who will the other be from? I asked, equally scared. Rias, guys, let's see, he said to his entourage. All there is. Girls, I hope I'm okay, thought the girls in the entourage. While they were fighting Issei and Zeus almost equally, no one was winning. Something like that. Zeus, it seems that this time you are not copying my movements, but that you have learned to fight, he said while directing a blow. Issei, let's just say I've practiced, he said while dodging that blow and kicking. But then Issei felt the powers of his friends in the entourage, but because he was distracted, Zeus noticed this, and took the opportunity to hit him in the face. Zeus, take this. The entourage had arrived at the scene of the fight, but they saw something fly towards a wall. And when the dust it had caused when it crashed cleared, they noticed it was Issei. Girls, I see. They all mentioned, scared and worried about him. Issei. Hello girls, he said, standing up as if nothing had happened. Rias. I see who did this to you, she said, worried and angry about who hurt her. I see. Izari. Yes, little brother, who did this to you? She mentioned seriously but angry at the guy who hurt her dear little brother. Issei, good. Zeus, foo, so you were worried about them, he said to Rias's entourage. Rias, on behalf of the Gremory family, I order you to identify yourself, she said seriously. Zeus, foo, okay, miss, let me introduce myself. I'm the father of the gods, but not from this dimension. They call me Zeus. He mentioned in a mocking tone. Aquino, Zeus, she said, scared. Issei, wow. And I wanted blue, he said mockingly. Zeus, from what I see, you are worrying a lot about these people then, he said, and with a speed that no one imagined. He was in front of Rias, he killed them first. All, President. Everything happens as if time had stopped, and Rias was just waiting for the blow. Rias, help. She thought she was closing her eyes waiting for the blow, but it never came. Then when she opened her eyes she was surprised, but not only her but everyone. Issei was in front of Rias, who received the blow without moving. I imagine that Kabuto, I think that's his name, is Zeus, Naruto, Issei, and Tsunade. Rias. Issei, you can hurt me but never the people I love, he said to hit Zeus in the stomach, making him spit blood from his mouth, sending him far away from there. Rias just felt her heart racing, knowing that the man she loves was protecting him. Rias, I see, he whispered, looking at him with a look of love. Issei, you guys stay here. I'll take care of him, he mentioned seriously, surprising everyone since they rarely, or rather, almost never see him serious. All hi. Then Issei approached Zeus. Zeus, foo. It seems someone got angry, he said while blood was running out of your mouth. Issei. Zeus. Don't ignore me, he said angrily while throwing several punches at Issei. When Issei threw blows at him, he just dodged them all, and when he was in front of Zeus, he hit him in the jaw, sending him flying. Zeus, what the hell? Said he. But when he took a good look at Issei, he could see something that scared him a little. Issei. It's time for you to pay for trying to hurt the people I love, he said seriously. Zeus. Looks like I'll have to fight seriously, he said as he transformed into his final form. Let the real fight begin. Issei. Of course I do, he said to get into fighting shape with a smile.
Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day. Bye.